someone that would like to speak. So Chris, come on up. When you get up, you can do either one. Just hit the button that looks like someone that's shouting. I mean, that way you can sit down if you want. Yeah, just hit the one on the right. No. Nope, the light should go on. Oh, there we go.
Okay, thank you. Good evening. Well, first, thank you for having this opportunity to speak. I appreciate it. My name is Christine Williams. I go by Chris. I live north of 94 and N intersection, couple miles. I'm here to respectfully ask the village, Dane County, and Wisconsin DOT to ensure full due diligence and transparency with review of the traffic and safety impacts associated with the new Amazon distribution center. Firstly, the transportation impact study that has been shared publicly seems to be a summary of the TIS prepared by Amazon's consultant. Because of that, there is, I think, real value in objective and independent review by Wisconsin DOT, Dane County, and the village of Cottage Grove. To what extent that's been done, I'm not sure. I think there's been some of that done, but I think it's likely a very comprehensive document. I'd like to make sure that there's validation of the Amazon TIS assumptions. There are any areas of concern identified. Determine whether or not there are gaps requiring further evaluation, ensure that all stakeholders representing each of the groups I mentioned, Dane County, Department of Transportation, Amazon, and the Village of Cottage Grove, ensuring there's stakeholder sign-off before the distribution center opens related to plans and impacts for that intersection area of 94 and County N. Given the scale of the facility, I think it's reasonable to expect a clearly defined stakeholder review and sign-off process involving the groups I mentioned. As part of that process, Amazon accountability should be clearly documented to ensure that the agreed-upon truck routes, employee traffic patterns, truck-restricted areas are consistently followed. I think that's essential to avoid disruption, reduce safety risks, and prevent Amazon truck traffic from entering areas that are intended to remain truck-free. Secondly, the TIS summary does not seem to include some of the core technical components that communities typically rely on to understand real-world impacts. Again, that information may be in the lengthy or full TIS report, but I don't think it's publicly available. And again, this information is what I've been finding readily accessible online, so if I'm missing something, I'm more than happy to relook at things. Excuse me. The missing information within the public records seem to be the full level of service tables, queue length modeling, heavy vehicle sensitivity analysis, ramp terminal performance, roundabout capacity analysis, safety and pavement impact analysis, and any Wisconsin DOT review letters or engineering memos. Without these, the public cannot meaningfully assess whether the interchange is prepared for the traffic volumes expected. Thirdly, I'd like to point out that shifting truck traffic to off-peak times, which I have read is what's been suggested by Amazon, may help with congestion, but it doesn't do anything to reduce structural wear. And that intersection, those roundabouts, I believe, were redone in 2011, so they're already approaching a time of structural risk or reassessment, for sure. Pavement and roundabout deterioration are governed by physics, not timing. A 40,000-pound truck causes the same damage whether it's 3 p.m. or 3 a.m. The roundabouts at County N and 94 are now 13 to 14 years old, right at the average age where deterioration accelerates. They were not designed for distribution center level truck volumes or turning movements that cause rutting and cracking in the circulatory roadway. I'd also like to mention that estimated volumes pre-Amazon County N traffic roughly has 10,000 to 14,000 vehicles per day. Each roundabout likely already handles 15,000 to 25,000 vehicles daily, adding nearly 1,000 peak hour trips, many of them heavy trucks, create the risk of roundabout saturation, queue spillback into interstate ramps or on the interstate, shift change surges with the employees, even if that's a 12-hour shift that I think they may be doing 2 12-hour shifts. Safety hazards for commuters and first responders is really a concern. I think when you look at first responders that may be moving through that area, 5 to 15-minute delay in effectively or efficiently getting through that area can really make a difference when first responders are responding to fire, domestic, medical situation that needs prompt attention. Other Wisconsin communities with similar facilities, Beloit, Kenosha, Oak Creek, Oconomowoc, have all required major upgrades within 1 to 3 years of opening because initial mitigation was not enough. So again, I'm really kind of asking for what can we do prior to the opening of the distribution center to be proactive and not reactive after the fact. This isn't about opposing development, it's about ensuring that the people who use this interchange every day and the main corridors, Highway County N, going all the way through Cottage Grove and up into Sun Prairie, are safe for everyday residents, commuters, emergency services, and everyone is protected through proactive planning, not reactive fixes years later. I respectfully ask the Village of Cottage Grove, Wisconsin DOT, Dane County, Amazon, and collaborating neighboring communities, such as Sun Prairie, I'm in the town of Sun Prairie, to share the full traffic impact analysis publicly, conduct an independent objective review of the TIS that was completed by Amazon or their consultant, document any studies that have been completed, reevaluate roundabout capacity, ramp storage and pavement impacts, coordinate with neighboring communities, and again, make that a collaborative process, clearly document Amazon's traffic flow commitments and enforce adherence. If there's some documentation or has been discussion about where they will or will not allow truck traffic, to what extent is that enforceable and who's going to enforce it? It's pretty big and pretty important, and I don't think it can be adhered to if it's not in writing. Ensure that mitigation is in place before the facility opens. The community deserves a transportation system that's safe, resilient, and prepared on day one. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Appreciate you coming down here. It's a little more time than we usually give people, but we don't get a whole lot of public appearances here, so we let it go a little longer.
I tried to do
it
it 3 minutes.
We can't do it back and forth. We can't ask you any questions just due to the rules, but we were talking about traffic flow later, so maybe that's something we can bring up. So
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
Appreciate it. All right, is there anyone else in the room or on Zoom who wishes to speak? If not, we will move to number 4, discuss and consider the minutes from the December meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the December 10th meeting.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, we will move to unfinished business discussion on vehicle traffic flow for staff direction.
So this is a continuation from our discussion from the December meeting. I sent out after the December meeting the draft, the Monona Residential Traffic Management Program Objectives, Policies, and Procedures that you guys should all have a copy of. Obviously, it's another community, so it's not linked in our agenda for specific reasons. However, what I wanted to follow up on that was after you guys had a chance to review that, so I'm currently in the process of putting together a stop sign policy. This kind of all correlates in the same aspect. So my recommendation, but ultimately it's up to you guys what you guys would like to see from me, is to combine kind of all of the, similar to Monona and how we talked on the residential traffic side, last meeting, as well as the stop signs, and come up with kind of a draft outline for you guys to review before I dive too far deep into it.
I think that's wise to just put it all together.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and coming off of what I took out of the Monona one is, it would be nice to have just a small section within your draft that talks about, it gives direction to the community as to how to obtain traffic or pedestrian safety items if they deem that they feel that they're warranted in their particular area. Let them know what the steps are that should be taken and what their options are.
Absolutely.
Also, speaking of traffic flow, do we have the full traffic impact thing from Amazon that we can make public? Or
We do. It's in a couple different appendices, and it's like 1,000 pages, but I will work to see what we have posted on the website, and coordinate with Aaron on that.
okay, I know from experience that it's not always easy to find documents on the website. So
Yep. I will take a look and see if the full traffic impact analysis is posted on there. And if it's not, I'll work with staff to make sure that it gets posted up there. It has been approved by the state and the county, and throughout the multi-length, the month aspect of that, Strand did a review as well on the village behalf, but that would be considered a third-party review.
Any other discussion on vehicle traffic flow for staff direction? Okay, otherwise we will move to 5B, update and discussion on the 2026 street and ped project.
We have 2026 Streets and Ped project forthcoming here to be bid here in February, with the intent of awarding in March. Kind of a few things I wanted to bring to your attention in the drawings, just to give everybody the lay of the land. As previously discussed, we will be pulverizing and relaying asphalt on Nightingale, Cottage Court, Clearbrook Terrace, and then Stone Heath End, kind of that last cul-de-sac down by Bonnie and Weld Bridge. Pretty standard as our other projects have gone on the pulverizations aspect. We also have included Johnson Health Tech, that to be removed and replaced, that was not included as the bid alternative last year. My intent, we are tracking okay for right now on OPCC from Strand. We are looking pretty good, but just to give us a buffer, just in case bids come extremely high, I would like to move forward with that as an alternative, just to have that broken out separate. It does need to get done, so I would like to have it done this year, but just to make sure that we are covered on money basis. Any questions on the streets pulverization, sidewalk replacement, curb removals aspect of it before we kind of go on to the multi-use path aspect?
My only issue with it is it says Clearbrook Terrace, including cul-de-sac, because that cul-de-sac has a name and there's very lovely people that live on
There
that
are
cul-de-sac.
very lovely people there. You're on the OPCC, yes. We looped it all in because the cul-de-sac is very tiny. Relation to the entire street, and in terms of quantifying things, it made it a little easier on their end. You can blame Strand.
I'm just messing with you because that's what.
The name is on the name's on the plan.
Okay.
On the OPCC.
And the OPCC.
No, it's not separate.
It's my street, so I just want some recognition.
You are getting a new driveway, I'm pretty sure. I
Yeah,
think
we are. My
yeah.
kids are very confused about those X's that are on our.
I have had a lot of calls on that. The more exciting part, the continuation and finalization of the County Highway BB path and kind of the connectivity issues that we are looking to connect as part of this project. So as a reminder, the Heyday project, which is just south of the Granite Ridge School and just west of Glacial Drumlin, is being constructed right now. It is their intent, and they are on schedule to be completing their portion of the path this summer as well. Also when school is out, which is when this portion of the path will be scheduled to, when our portion of the path will be scheduled to occur outside of after school ends and before school starts is our intent. So we will be connecting the small portion of the path that's at the Granite Ridge School to the Heyday development on Bus Road that you see here on the left side of the screen. Pretty straightforward 10-foot path. Gets a little more complicated here on BB along the Glacial Drumlin School. So there's existing concrete sidewalk that will be removed and a new path will be placed from Damascus to the connection of the Heyday project. All of the trees that are located along there will be removed. They are right in the middle of the path. I have talked to forestry. Forestry is aware. Forestry looked at the trees to see if they were worth salvaging. They are not. So the trees will be removed by staff. We are going to take that cost to do internally. This way we don't have to, we can take care of those this winter during winter conditions. We are looking at not replacing those trees at this time, but depending on how the path looks moving forward, we'll coordinate with forestry moving forward. But at this time, it will not be included in the path. With that aspect, Josh is going to talk more on the curb, drainage, and storm sewer. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, on that section of path, I'm gonna switch to street view just to show you guys kind of what's going on. Is it okay if I share? Kyle?
While he's pulling that up, how does it work? Is it two different developers? If Heyday does the path and then we're contracting out the other parts of the path, it could be two different contractors?
Two different contractors.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Is there simplicity in, you can't do it?
We gotta
Heyday just does
we have to
theirs.
we have to publicly bid. I mean, there's a small chance potentially that their contractor would bid. I think it's IG or Integrity has bid on some village projects before.
Just that they could just extend it out,
Yeah.
they're already
Yeah.
doing it, but,
Right.
okay.
It's taxpayer dollars, so we gotta bid that portion of it.
Yeah, I know, it's the public bidding part, I guess,
Yeah.
I get, like, it'd be
Yeah.
nice to just piggyback off what they're already
Mhm.
doing, I feel like it's cost effective, but I understand the ramifications.
Maybe there's a way to line them up, because they might get the same guy paving them out there, potentially, but. So the right-of-way is right behind this existing sidewalk in this location, so the path will be a little closer. We can bump it back, I think, a foot or so, is all, as part of this. So like Kyla said, some of these trees becoming, we're right up against them, sort of, in some of these locations, so those trees just don't work. And then as we extend forward, again, the right-of-way is sort of right behind here, and there's a ditch there. So there's a ditch that kind of runs from up at the town parcels here and runs down along the school parcels into a pond. So this is all a little bit lower. So the road now drains across here and drains out into this ditch. When we put a path in there, we start to get into a situation where all the water from the road's kind of running over the path and everything else. I'd like to get the path up higher, but we really can't get the path higher unless we do something different there, because we'd be blocking water. Now, Heyday is bringing curb out as part of their project, because they're putting in a right turn bay that comes out to about where these hydrants are, I think, Kyla. So they'll have curb to here, and then there'd be the section without curb. And then there's curb right back here. And I proposed to Kyla, there's a section in here where the path, no matter what we do, is below the road, and I have some weird drainage problems, that I'd like to extend the curb 100 feet regardless to help with the path over here in the ditch. And there's a section then that there's this little gap. And I really would like to put curb in the entire way, get the path up a little bit, get it away from the ditch, make sure none of the road drainage is kind of coming to it. I think it would improve snow in the winter and ice conditions potentially on the path. And adds a little bit of cost to the project, but it kind of cleans up that side.
But it only adds curb cost, there's no storm sewer associated with it or anything like that, right?
So what I'd like to do is, as part of that too, is extend a little bit of the storm sewer, Mike. I think it's a couple hundred feet up, and add another inlet along there, because now we have the Heyday portion and then this portion that has stormwater on it. And I'd like to put another inlet in there too to pick it up before it goes all the way down the corner to Damascus.
So can we set it up, even if we have to add a structure, that storm sewer is under the future, if this were to get widened,
Yes.
so that
We've talked
storm
about this.
sewer is now not in the middle of the lane 5, 10, 2 years from now, when we go to 4 lanes through this section, that we have to replace all that storm sewer?
So that is the hard part. So I guess the thing is, what you're saying, Mike, is let's run the storm sewer out here, what would be maybe a future curb, and then come over and set the inlet. So maybe we're setting one more structure out here, what would be in the terrace between the curb and this path.
Be under the future curb line.
Right, and then have it under what would be the proposed future. You're adding a structure, a little bit of pipe cost, but overall, you're not having to replace something in the future.
Right.
If and when, maybe you expand this roadway to a different, section
Correct.
through here.
And so that was one thing that I wanted to bring up to this commission, give Josh the chance to give all the lay of the land. Obviously, they are recommending that 100 feet of curb be installed regardless for drainage issues. So that 100 feet of curb would be included in the base bid of the project. Now, if we want to continue that curb from that endpoint all the way to the heyday aspect, that is future curb that if this road gets urbanized, if we go to four lanes, we don't know what this corridor looks like right now. In 5, 10, whatever the years is, it would be removed and we would be replacing it. However, we could do that as an alternative. Right now, based on their OPCC, we are under budget for the path and with the curb alternative with the additional storm sewer. So we are tracking good, but it's ultimately a decision that this committee, that I'm looking for direction from this committee, if we want to install the curb all the way and connect that curb at this point in time with the knowledge that it may be removed in the future.
Right, one thing to consider to add to that is we may have to throw away, potentially if you widen this road someday, 300-400 feet of curb here, right? Like we put it in, we come back 15, 20 years later, whatever it may be, and say, we want to widen this, now we have to take that out. But if we don't put it there, then I have to put the path lower. And I'd like to set the path where it would be in the future.
I'd rather
And
not
put
have
the
to
curb and have to-
rebuild
right.
the path
Yeah.
and the curb and that corner of the road. I'd rather do it right this first time.
Right.
Even if we end up cutting back on a little bit of mill and overlay or some of our pavement projects somewhere else that we
Yep.
can easily pick up next year. I don't want to do this 30% of it over again in the future when we widen this road.
Right, so that's, we got into these same
Yep.
discussions back and forth of pros, con, pro, con, what's the best way to spend the money? And I think we want to set the path up for the future. And, this curb could stay in quite a while, honestly. It depends on kind of the functionality of this road and how it plays out. So you might even get quite a bit of life out of the curb before you potentially would have to remove it someday too. But,
No, I would agree that that is the correct way to move forward with this, to do it right the first time.
okay. That's the direction we're sort of pitching and going, and we just wanted to make sure that you guys understood that.
Only other question I have related to this topic is, there were developers agreements with both school constructions about public improvements at the time that those public improvements were installed in terms of reimbursement for those improvements.
Yep.
Are any of these costs being covered by those developers agreements?
Yes, a portion of, so what was originally, I did a lot of research in our records room. It's a really pretty room. I found the agreement for, so this was originally supposed to be installed as a concrete all the way. It's supposed to be a 6-foot concrete path, not a full 10-foot path. So the school, we are putting costs together and for estimate now, and then once final bids come through, both schools we have been in contact with the recoverable costs per the developers agreements.
Okay, yeah, my recollection is they were on the hook to fully develop 4 lanes of this road to the property line with all the improvements. And it was agreed that they could wait until expend that money at the time that such improvements were done, which is partially now.
Yep, and so with that aspect for the 4-lane construction, there was last minute changes on that. So that was everyone's assumption, and then when I found all the developers agreements and what I have been able to find, it is not, they decided to pull back at the finals developers agreement. So it would just be the path extension.
So the one on Bus Road, Kyla, to summarize, would be they were expected to put a 10-foot path in.
Correct.
So that cost will fall back to them.
Yep.
But down here along Cottage Grove Road, we're assuming that what you could find is a 6-foot sidewalk or widened, concrete thing. That will be a cost share regarding the difference in that they will pay towards this portion of this path.
So they'll pay the concrete portion. We are not having them pay the extra for the asphalt, and we are also not having them pay for the 10-foot path that they've already got sidewalk in. That's just a cost that we've decided to
Yes,
change,
yeah.
change our directions on what we're looking for in this corridor.
Any other discussion?
Just for clarifying purposes for bid, because we want to move forward with doing it right, we do want to include the curb and any storm sewer in the base bid for the path, correct?
Yes, and put the path in at its ultimate location, elevation, so that
Yeah.
it would not have to be disturbed with any future street improvements.
Right, yep. And
Sounds
then we
good.
would, I think we're like, maybe you just mentioned that, I forget, like, we're gonna have a potential for a couple alternatives, just in case we gotta, like we've done in the past, we gotta pull a piece or two of the project out that then can be put in next year. You know, so there's some of the paving stuff you could break out a little bit if you wanted to and hold over. Yeah, that small cul-de-sac.
Yeah.
We could eliminate.
Unnamed cul-de-sac.
So it's,
Sorry, Chris.
so it's not surprising to this committee. As part of the utility budget, they approved repaving the parking lot for Well 3 and a portion of the driveway that leads up to Tower 2 that is completely destroyed. I have gotten a separate asphalt cost from contractors locally, but to see if we get a better cost that will be included as an alternative in this project. The utility will pay for it, so it'll come from separate funds. But just so you guys are aware, if you see a random driveway plan drawing.
I'll just add, thank you for that discussion, and I agree completely with what Mike said, and love it. I was just saying the Johnson Health Tech path, I also agree with that being an alternative. Just because it is a dead-end path and it's still usable, that I feel that could be one way we could maybe save on costs. But this, I think, is the priority as described.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, guys.
All right, unless there's anything else, we will move to 6, Director's Report.
As approved in this year's budget, we will be doing an e-cycle event. I have coordinated with Pelletary, and it will be on April 18th from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. to align with Earth Day again. It should be noted this is a week earlier than last year's. That is due to the fact that I am not scheduling it on the same day as Drug Take Back Day. That also occurs at the Municipal Services Building. So weather goes well, we will have it at Bonnie Road, and it will function the same way as last year. Should we have inclement weather, then it'll be relocated into at MSB, where they can go through our garage. As we kind of discussed earlier, we're working through the stop sign policy, and I'll be coordinating those two things together. So I'll work on a draft to get that to you guys for review and discussion before fully moving into writing that.
Sorry, Kyla, I have one more thing.
Yeah.
Part of the path.
Yes.
It switches sides at the school. Sorry, it's on the south side coming up Cottage Grove Road, and it switches to the north side, right?
Yes.
So that's a kitty corner intersection at that light. I just wanted to bring it to people's attention. I know there are street lights that allow essentially pedestrians to go, it's all red lights, and then pedestrians can cross diagonally. Just because it's going to be theoretically a heavy traffic from school and technically bike riders and everything, I know there's a crossing guard there now. I just don't know if we should have anything at that intersection, or if we're just okay with them going one at a time. I mean, I think that's easy. They can still definitely go one at a time. But just think about that corridor, that they're going to go slow. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe a future discussion, I don't know.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that. On the director side, the planning and clerks department are integrating our permits and forms through Cloud Permit. Our right-of-way permit, I would like to add onto that as well. Currently, it's a PDF and it gets emailed to me. Our right-of-way permit also hasn't been looked at in several years. It's quite out of date. We also don't require a fee for our right-of-way permit. Looking at other municipalities our size, when we have a intercon or a TDS or a charter, there's potholing fees, there's different fees that can be associated with the right-of-way permit. I am going to put something draft together and potential fees on what other municipalities our size have for this commission's feedback moving forward, because I'd like to integrate that right-of-way permit with the cloud permit as well. We're full operations for snow operations. Some ice this morning that no one expected, so hopefully everyone got to work safely today. We were out and about. Equipment and fleet update, as approved in our budget, we move forward with our F-350 pickup truck with our Salter attachment. So you'll see that out and about as well, the new Salter for there. And we've also moved forward with the Toolcat trade-in program. Both of those purchases right now came in under the planned budget. West Lawn Fifth Estates is substantially completed, and there's very minimal punch list items to be completed at this time for the spring. Quarry Ridge Phase D, we are working through when they are going to do the eastern extension of School Road to meet the requirements of the developers agreement. Amazon is not working on any public improvements at this time. They provided updated design drawings at the end of December for the county and state's review. The village received a copy of it as well. Both Strand and I plan to review the plans from our end. As a reminder, all final approvals for N and TT do go through the state and county. We can only ask questions and provide what guidance and what questions we may have. Once those have been reviewed by the county and state and we are at a good point, I plan to provide an update to this committee and ultimately village board on where we stand on those improvements. Heyday is continuing to move forward. You'll see they're in full force on building. Fundamental Way is completed. There's just some punch list items, including restoration. I'm still waiting on the RFB. I know you wanted an update. I was hoping to give one. Parisi hasn't given me one. They've been calling Kat every single day. I'm just as annoyed. And our railing will be coming in February. If you want to talk about it, we can talk about it later. And we're working through the 2026 project as we previously updated. Construction will be in the spring, and we hope to award that here in March.
Any questions on the director's report?
I was just going to ask if we could just put Amazon as its own standalone agenda item to address some of the concerns that were here, also emailed. Even if you guys aren't necessarily ready to bring us kind of the evaluation of the documents you have, I think we should still keep a conversation going.
I agree. I guess I would say that I'd like that agenda item to happen after your review so we can talk intelligently. Otherwise, our questions will just fall on, while we're still reviewing it, we don't know.
Okay.
So hopefully whenever, I don't know if that review will be done by the February meeting.
On both the, so right now, it's on the, what we have is the actual drawings, the actual improvements that are gonna be done. The traffic stuff has kind of been out and gone and done for a while. Do we want to bring something like that back to Paul you're talking about, or just here moving forward on what the progress of that is?
Moving forward and the plans that you're looking at.
Yeah, okay.
And then if, I mean, we should have these on the website if we
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
At least maybe we could email
Yeah.
them to the citizen in attendance.
Yeah.
But that would be good.
I will not be, because the drawings aren't finalized, those won't be linked to the website, but I can definitely provide a general update on the website of this is planned improvements for roadway, here are the limits, and that aspect
Okay.
at this point in time. Yep.
Okay, so we've have apparently moved on to item 7. Is there any other future agenda items?
Sorry.
That's okay. If nothing else, we're on number 8.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion and a second, non-debatable. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thanks, everybody.